If you're looking to buy a used Overlocker or Serger, I've probably got a lot of valuable information for you. I've spent 35 years sewing with them and about 15 years selling them. So I know which are the expensive bits that if they aren't working, it's going to cost you to get them working. G'day, I'm Sharon and welcome. The first thing you need to check out is, have you got a foot control and power cord? A lot of the machines that is a combined item, but if you don't have it, you'd be amazed how expensive that is compared to the cost of a new machine. The next thing to look at on that same power cord is to make sure that no cats or dogs have chewed on it, because you don't want to burn your house down as a result of buying a used machine. The next thing to do is to run your fingers over the upper and lower loopers. You shouldn't feel any rough patches or any burrs, and there certainly shouldn't be any bits missing. This is the upper looper on the machine, and when I roll it forward, we can now see the lower looper. If you can turn the wheel on the machine, make sure that the loopers are not clicking as they go past each other. They shouldn't actually be touching each other. It's expensive to replace loopers because almost certainly you don't know how to do it properly, and you also don't know how to get the timing back together after it's been replaced. So it's probably going to require a visit to a technician if there's something wrong with the loopers. Have a look at the needles while you're here. The groove is on the front of the needles. Just make sure they're both in. The left one is a little bit higher than the right one. It's also important that they are the correct needles. So in this particular machine, they are HA1SP needles, which means ballpoint. Some other machines use EL needles. Unfortunately, poor quality or damaged needles will make the machine not work. I'm not quite sure how you get around this, because quite frankly you probably don't want to be carrying around a pile of needles so that you can change them and check to see if that's all the problem is. Next, plug it in and turn it on, and then depress the foot control slowly to make sure that the motor is working. For obvious reasons, you do not want to buy a machine if the motor is not working. If you're lucky, at this point the machine is already threaded, and all you need to do is to put some fabric in and feed it in so that you can see that it is stitching on fabric. That may be almost all you need to do, if you're lucky. If when you begin to sew you're getting a raggedy sort of edge, that's an indication that there's a problem with one or both of the blades. They could have gone over a pin, or they might just be blunt from years of use. If you have to replace blades, it's an added expense. If you are looking at buying one of these older Janome machines, and a lot of other ones as well, they came with two needle plates. So this part, there were two. One is for regular sewing and the other is for rolled hemming. With the Janomes you can tell because they don't have a little switch here. The more modern ones that have got the switch actually changes them from regular to rolled hem and back. These ones you have to unscrew it and change the plate, which is all well and good unless one of the plates is missing. If the R plate is missing and you never intend to do a rolled hem, it doesn't matter very much. But if you want to be able to do a rolled hem, you may end up having to buy that plate. On the other hand, there's a big problem if you want to do regular sewing on an overlocker and it's the S or standard plate that is missing. You would have to buy a standard plate in order to get the machine to not do rolled hemming. So check it out. If they've only got one plate there, you need to unscrew the plate and make sure that it's got an S on the bottom if what you're planning to do is standard overlocking or serging. All of which brings us to the subject of accessories. You really want to have a manual if there is one, and you need to have a large and small screwdriver, large one for moving those plates, small one for changing the needles. Some brands of machine, the needle changing screwdriver is an odd shape. So on my baby lock, it's a hex key. You need to be able to change the needles in your machine. There may be other accessories like a looper threader. You may have to go and purchase those if they are not with the machine. All of this adds to the cost. If you have made it through the cord and the plates and all the other bits, but the machine is not threaded, you have just run into the worst part of overlockers or sergers. Hopefully there is somebody present who can thread it for you, but if there is not, take a deep breath and see if there is a threading tutorial on my YouTube channel. I have done quite a few of them. I am working on doing more because I know this is the worst part of sergers or overlockers. And if I can make that as slow and calm and pleasant as possible, you may be able to thread that machine even though you don't know it. Try to thread it, decide whether you want to fight with it. Maybe that's the point where you give up on possible ownership of that machine. If you can't thread it, it's going to be pretty useless to you. I'm now going to make a really big sweeping statement. Buying a second-hand machine is actually very similar to buying a new machine online or from a big box store. You don't get any help from big box stores or online stores about how to thread your machine either. It's a good idea where you can to purchase from a brick and mortar store where they know what they're doing. And not all of them do, but hopefully they do, and hopefully you can gauge that before you buy a machine from them. There are plenty of good second-hand machines around. The trouble is that if you're completely new to this, it's hard to pick them from the rubbish. I sincerely hope that this has helped you, given you some knowledge about what you need to know and what sort of machine you need to be purchasing. Check out the rest of my channel. There are other videos that will help give you an idea of which kinds of machine are going to work better for you. And I wish you luck, and I'll see you next time.